बहुत हो ये Посередине расписался.
One photo.
Aka, bitti arası yarı ya. Ama yaxşı olmaz. Al bakalım. I'll just give 2 interviews and then I'll join this.
Sure, sir. Yeah, you have a signature.
One.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll just go.
Inside.
2 other people asked. I'll do them first.
Take some water, and if you want to give it to me, that's
Water is in my hand.
drink it and give this along with this. Take your time.
And the search, right? Abhimanyu, who has been giving like so many interviews for the last half an hour, he's here to explain us his game and so many of his thoughts. He was taking us through with this game over here. Abhimanyu, if you can, quickly repeat a bit over here. The few things which I had asked you after G5 and knight at 7.
Sure.
That would be great for our
Yeah,
chat
no
to
problem.
learn.
Sure. So actually, this knight h7 directly I hadn't seen before. I had seen other versions of knight h7, let's say, or knight h7 / knight d7. For example, let's say if black starts with queen e7, queen e7, white goes b4, knight, and now black plays knight d7, knight f8, knight g6. This is one line. The other thing is, let's say instead of queen e7, if black plays castle, and then white goes a4, and now let's say king g7, knight h7 is one plan, or knight h7 directly is another plan. Like these are some very concrete lines, and I check a lot of variations like this in the morning, but this specific knight h7 I hadn't seen before.
This one. So when
And also
you
actually, yeah, this opening there are, after bishop g5 there are a lot of different lines. Like he chose a6, bishop a7. Recently I had a game against Ronak, and Ronak Sadwani, he played a5, bishop a7, and that was also a very interesting game in the same structure.
Oh.
Where I had won with white in Fujairah.
Got I
So-
just right before this tournament. Got it.
Yes. I mean I think that was the turning point where everything started clicking for me.
And over here, when you
So, yeah,
played d4 and he went h5, you played d takes e5. So, firstly, were you thinking of h4 or how was it? Or you always planned d takes e5?
When I played d4, I saw h5, d takes e5 as a canted move, and I thought it was quite a good idea. But maybe overall, like, okay, if the engine doesn't improve, maybe I have to check things out again. But the thing was, I saw some h4 stuff, but h4 I was a bit worried. Like, let's say he goes g4, like knight e1, knight e takes d4, and okay, I mean, black. This is a very, very sharp position overall, and I mean, white has compensation. Like you go like knight b3 or knight d3. I don't know which one is stronger. Like knight
Yeah.
d3 looks normal enough. And okay, you have, because black has these overextended pawns, but yeah, I mean, this seems very complicated as well. But in my game with d takes e5, I'd seen some nice idea that, okay, like h4 is the critical move here.
Yeah.
Knight takes h4, g takes h4, queen h5. So okay, now you're threatening mate. Now, okay, I'll start with the worst moves first. Like, let's say, first of all, queen d7 loses to e6.
Oh.
And okay, castle was another kind of move, but I'd seen that castle is horrible because of bishop takes h4, queen e8, and it's nice that I have queen g6 check.
Oh.
King h8, bishop f6 check, knight take, queen take, and then okay, I mean, his king is like horribly weak. Somewhere I'll go knight f3, knight g5. This is probably made another couple of moves. So okay, but the critical move, of course, I mean, these are all sidelines. Black has to go queen e7. And actually, when I was calculating this in the game, I saw bishop takes h4 as one kind of move. The other idea was, I was wondering if I can go e takes d6.
Oops, sorry.
E takes d6, c takes d6, and if bishop takes d6, but I don't think this one works. Because bishop takes d6, queen takes f7 check, king d8. And my idea was, okay, if I can go knight f3 here. And I'd seen some line that, what was it? If black plays, there was some perpetual check that I saw, but this
Was
he
it?
allows. Oh yeah, let's say queen e7 here. Now rook f d1 check. Now king c7. This is now white has queen f4 check. King b6, queen e3 check, and I thought this was a draw, but apparently, okay, the bar says otherwise. But the main, I mean, this I wasn't. Oh, sorry, no, queen c5 is there. What am I saying? Maybe I saw some other move. This wasn't the line. But okay, I mean, generally, instead of queen c7, black just has bishop d7. You can resign.
Yeah. Over here after rook d1.
Just keep rook d1, bishop d7. I realized this, that okay, this is just way too much.
But
Gave
you
up
realize
another
that
piece.
this one is nothing more for white, yeah? Because when Sagar
Yes.
was showing me this variation, and I was like, black's king is completely gone. You know, how to assess this? So it's amazing that you
No, the
calculated and assessed
main-
all of it.
The main thing is whether you have something concrete, because at the same time, of course, it looks very nice for one move, for two moves, but you sacrifice two full pieces. So I mean, the chance of risk is also very high.
True.
But I mean, of course, I'd seen this didn't work, but I was going to go bishop takes h4. And now black goes queen f8. And I wasn't sure on how to evaluate this. I mean, it's a very, very complex position. White has 3 pawns for the piece, but black also has ideas like knight e5, bishop g4, and so on. So it's very complicated. And I thought, okay, I was looking to get some kind of fight like this, but this could also very easily just go wrong for white. But
it's
you
very
have 3
tempting. No,
pawns.
you would be very tempted to play this. Like you got into this
Yeah, yeah.
h4. Would you have entered here, like at this moment, something which is e5 or something?
Yeah, something like this. I mean, I was going to try something because I mean, of course, I know that black's position is not. Also, wait, e5. I mean, e5. I was wondering if black has d5, bishop takes d5, knight f6, but white has bishop takes f7 check. This is nice
Knight f6.
because or knight f6 also bishop takes e6 is also running. What am I saying?
Yeah, that's the best.
But yeah, bishop takes f7 is cleaner. I mean, if black starts with knight f6, you still have bishop takes f7.
Nice.
But yeah, let's say some idea like e5. This is generally like what I was going to go for. It's very, very complex position, and okay, both sides have chances, and this is the kind of raw fight that I wanted for today.
Yeah, all amazing calculations over here after h4.
Yeah, I mean, it gets very messy, but he went g4, which, I mean, g4 also, it kind of, I mean, this was a bit confusing for me, because also, this is the first move out of preparation, right? So, I mean, if you play the first move out of preparation, you know that you cannot be worse, but also g4 is kind of an admission that things have gone wrong, because, okay, let's say even other than e takes d6, I was wondering about bishop h4 here. Like, bishop h4, white goes queen d7, or black goes queen d7, and white goes knight d4. Now the thing is, when you have this kind of position, like if you look at the bar, white is better. So I was also debating on whether I should do this or go for e takes d6, and this is what was. Okay. Yeah, I thought this was a bit. This was a bit confusing. That why would he go for a move that has multiple refutations in the sense
Exactly.
that white is at least fine.
Yeah, even we were wondering because this was one simple way for you to continue after G4.
Yeah.
Not sure whether he wanted to, whether he missed in his preparation or whether he wanted to be playing something else on the board. But this move definitely took you also for a surprise, yeah, the move G4.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was only calculating H4. But yeah, I mean, okay, here I found this. I mean, I think E takes D6 is objectively the best move. G takes F3, G takes C7. Because I have 4 pawns, and I mean, there's a pawn on C7, so. I mean, I felt like I should be close to winning here already. Queen E7, Knight takes F3. And I played nicely for next couple moves, like Bishop G4, H3, Bishop E6, but also. Other thing is, I mean, Bishop D6 was nice. Also, I was wondering on whether I should go Bishop takes E6 instead of Bishop D6. Like Bishop takes E6 because now if Queen takes E6, Knight D4. And this is really nice for White, but I was a bit worried that let's say if Black goes Queen G6, and he can castle next.
Yeah, at
And I mean,
least
of course,
some
okay,
safety
White.
for the king.
Yeah, but I mean, even here I have a pawn on C7. I have 4 pawns. I mean, this also has to be winning. Like, I don't know, Knight F5, castle Queen B3 or something.
Yes. The engine says almost +2 and 2.5.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is an amazing position for White, but I didn't want to allow this, so I went Bishop D6. Queen D7 takes E6. Queen takes E6, E5. King D7, and now I played the worst move of probably my entire chess career, Knight D4.
But did you expect King D7? Because I thought it was
No,
very creative kind of
Yeah,
an
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, no, it's King D7. It's a very nice idea. I mean, I actually missed this that he just wants Rook G8, King C8, and starts attacking me. And I mean, Knight D4 is kind of a panicking move. I mean, I think objectively maybe instead of Knight D4, I should just go B4. Because now, okay, like Knight B4, Black goes Rook A8. I go King H1. And now the thing is, because if now King C8, I go A4, B5, I just give mate. I think and somehow during the game I was worried that King H1 he can somehow set up with Rook G6, Rook H8, but Rook G6 there's just Knight H4 and he can resign again.
Ah, you were already looking at this during the game, yeah? A4, B4 ideas?
Yeah, no, I mean I saw B4 during the game, but somehow I don't know, I saw some ghosts from Black and play like Rook, like okay, let's say Rook A8, King H1, and I don't know, I saw like Rook G6 like after, let's say it's like
King H1.
yeah, like Rook G6 instead of King C8. With Rook G6 just Knight H4 and Black is done for. Because I thought if Light goes A4 instead of Knight H4 I considered A4. But if you go A4, Black goes Rook G8, now this is a lot messier than it should be.
True. You will have to
And maybe
go into this B5, then Rook G2 and all those calculations which are unnecessary.
Yeah, that was my main worry, that I didn't want to allow something like this. But of course, you just played one move Knight H4 and, I mean, basically game over. But yeah, I mean, this was a horrible miss, because the thing was Knight D4, I'd seen some lines, but yeah, I mean, I missed this Knight F6 by Gukesh.
No, I think for Knight D4, we were also looking at Knight D4, which was a very logical move, common move, and we were like, White wants this and this is going to be over, kind of a thing. But somehow in King D7, Knight D4 wasn't the best. So,
yeah, I mean, the main difference also is that in the other lines, when like, for example, the other Knight D4, Bishop takes E6 and Knight D4, there the difference is my pawn is on E4. Here, he gets this really nice square for D5 on his queen.
True.
So, I mean, this Knight D4 here, actually, I'll explain what I was thinking. But Knight D4, I mean, the first line I considered was if Knight takes D4, C takes D4, and Rook A8.
A8, no?
So, that now the thing, yeah, A8. So, now the idea is if Black can play King C8 next move, if you go King H1, Black goes King C8, and then he starts attacking me. I'd seen that I can Queen. But yeah, like, this is equal. But the thing is, I'd see that I can play C8 Queen.
Oh, you saw this.
And
wow.
Now Rook takes C8, Queen F3, and I mean the thing is now I opened up. You don't have a safe place for the king. B7 is falling. I go D5, and I mean this is game over. I'd seen this, and I'd also seen Bishop takes D4, of course. But so okay,
Where?
Bishop takes D4. Like,
Over here?
or let's say no, not here. Like in the game. Like Bishop takes D4, C takes D4, and I mean the first idea is whether Black can go Rook A8. Rook A8, D5, Queen takes H3. I mean, okay, it doesn't work, but you need to calculate such things during a game. So, okay, D takes C6 check. b takes c6. Now the problem is if you go g3, black goes rook takes g3, and you get mated because queen h3, rook g8, rook g2, etc. Of course, you can't do this, but what I'd seen was that instead of going for g3, I have e6 check.
Over here.
Sorry, like d takes c6, b takes c6, e6. And now bishop goes back to g3.
Oh,
And he has no attack and game is over. So okay, I mean, rook a8 fails.
nice.
And I'd seen queen d5 as well. But the thing was, queen d5, I went queen takes h5 like in the game. I was expecting at first like rook a g8. And I thought that after rook a g8, white goes queen f5 check, queen e6, queen takes e6, f takes e6, and now f4. And I get a much better version of the game. Like this is, his knight didn't get out, and okay, I mean this is, I thought this should still be winning for white.
Oh, here, but there's still knight f6.
Yes, but maybe it was the f5 or something here. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
there's some more precise way instead of.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, what's the valuation?
Plus 1.2 if he goes ef5.
Okay, maybe there's some cleaner way to get this endgame though. I mean, maybe f4, f5 is not strongest, but I think after rook a g it's a bit higher, right?
Yes, instead of f4 here, d5 would be very strong.
Ah, yeah, d5, d5, e5, and now you play f4. Yeah, actually, I was considering some line like this as well.
True.
I mean, you have a lot of pawns, but I
Looks
mean, this
dangerous
is.
for black, practically.
But actually, f4, knight f6, and now maybe you play like rook a d1 or something. But knight f6, knight e8 if he tries to win back this pawn, like rook a d1, d4.
Rook
Like,
f3
instead of
is
knight
the
e8, if I
best
could.
move here.
Ah,
So
okay, now that's nice.
take. Oh no.
No, you do rook takes d5, rook
Oh.
takes d5, and rook takes d5. Yeah. But what if black goes d4 instead of this? So let's say instead of knight e8, he plays d4.
Here,
Is there just bishop c5 or what?
here d4.
Yeah, d4,
Bishop c5.
Yeah, bishop c5. Okay, you still have 4 connected past pawns, and this is very, very dangerous. But yeah, I mean, these were. I think I had also seen d5, but the thing was with this game, I actually missed this knight f6 resource, which at first, when I played knight d4, I missed knight f6, and this was very nice.
Yeah, these were very
Because, okay.
insane calculations, no, for the time. Like, I think the way you are right now sharing your calculations helps to understand that how you are using the method of elimination so hugely. Like, even if it is a simple variation, but you have seen it, you have like calculated it till the end, and you know that it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main thing that. I mean, when you're playing a position like this, I mean, it doesn't take very long for rook a8, queen takes h3 to work. So you need to be like absolutely sure. I mean, even if it doesn't work like in these variations, you just need to be sure that okay, you have to be fairly certain that okay, this kind of things don't work.
Nice. Queen
Yeah,
d5.
but yeah, knight f6. I mean, he's very resourceful, and he found this. I mean, I'd seen this when I played queen takes h5, of course, but I mean, there's nothing I can do anymore.
So was it like this was seen, but it was kind of underestimated, the kind of position you will land in?
No, actually, what happened was when you play knight d4, you're opting for this entire line. But after knight d4, e4, queen d5, from there I'd seen that after queen takes h5, knight f6 is a move. But I mean, instead of queen takes h5, I don't think I can do much else, right? He just goes rook a8 everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like king h5,
Here it's
but
too
it does,
late.
that is the queen h5 would be the best prior. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was pretty much fine after this, actually, that he got the.
Did you
I mean, I
consider
thought
queen f3 here, keeping the queens on the board?
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, with the momentum of the game shifting, queen f3, he goes knight e5, rook h8. I was very concerned that I'll get mated. Like, I mean, the thing is, I have 18 minutes here, and also, I mean, you also have to look at it psychologically, that you had such a winning position earlier, and now you have to deal with mate threats. So, I mean, if you don't adjust well, you'll lose in 2 moves. So therefore, I decided like, okay, trading queens was also, I thought, objectively the best, but also psychologically, it's a lot easier that okay, queens are off the board. Even no matter how badly you mess up this position, it's very difficult to lose with white. But of course, I mean, it's very easy to draw. So I mean, I think what happened was he'd seen ways to simplify, but he wanted something more.
Yeah.
And this is understandable. like yeah, I mean there are many ways actually where he could have let's say like simplified the game. Like okay, I went rook f7, king e6, rook af1. I mean I got a bit excited here. I thought like pawn on c7, bishop on d6 still, but I mean it's knight on d5 is such a nice knight.
Somehow, yeah, there were no mating nets over here happening immediately, and
Yeah.
knight d4 was a very strong move by him, so he definitely was very resourceful.
Yeah, and I mean he found all this knight b5 stuff. I mean actually after rook h7 here, I'm just curious, does knight takes d6 lose or is this also just equal?
No, this was equal. Actually, takes.
Yeah, because I saw
king
knight takes
d6.
d6, king takes d6, white goes rook d1. But rook d1, I'm like he must have seen rook g5. Now, I mean the thing is this is holding, but also white is not losing. Like worst case, I play c8 queen, rook takes c8, rook takes b7. I will not lose this game for sure. But the thing is, he was
what
already
over here?
getting
queen. Okay.
yeah, just queen, yeah, and then rook takes
and
b7.
d7 you will take. Got it.
I mean, there's one pawn left. Okay, I'll take this. I have 3 pawns and still going to make a draw. But I mean, I think my feeling was that he'd seen all these lines, but he was trying to press with black, which is a bit. I think it was asking a bit too much of the position, considering I have 4 pawns and, well, I mean, my bishop on d6 is also still alive. Pawn on c7. But yeah, I mean, towards the time control, like he went. Okay, he played rook g6. I don't think that was a mistake or anything, but oh wait, no, it's a mistake.
It was a mistake, but I don't know if it was very obvious during the game or not.
No, I mean, I thought rook g6 was still like okay for black, but it showed that he was trying to. I mean, whatever I did in the game, rook f7, rook d7 is wrong for sure. Like he had rook h6 and he was already fine. But I mean, I'll try to find this out later on, like what I could have done better. But
Here, you had.
But yeah.
Did you consider any the move rook d1 over here?
oh wow,
It was very
This is-
tough actually, at least for the time pressure
Yeah.
and by this move, by this 30-second move in general.
yeah, wow, okay, rook d1 is really nice.
The idea was, I
Wow.
think somewhere what was happening, I'll tell you, because takes king d6 and
Yeah.
the idea was rook h5, you were winning the piece, which was
Also, idea. I mean, rook c8, white goes a4. This is really nice.
yeah, rook
Wow.
rook c8, yeah.
No, not rook c8. Like first thing is if he rook c8
Yeah,
to
rook
take the
c8.
pawn.
Yeah, and then a4. Exactly, yeah. This was
A4.
the thing.
Now the problem is knight takes e7, bishop takes e7, rook takes e7, rook takes e7, knight takes e7, rook d6 check, king f7. You have rook d7 check and you win one piece. Wow. Okay, rook d1 is. I mean, somehow I was a bit one-dimensional in my thinking here. I was trying to play rook f7 and tried to play only rook f7, rook d7 check. Yeah. The thing was, I was only considering rook f7, and I mean, considering I had 5 minutes, I was just trying to play this plan with rook f7, rook h7.
True. Also very tempting, no? When there is rook f7, I think it's very hard to consider a move like rook d1 that way. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Also, I mean, mentally, also, I mean,
Hmm.
at this time, I'd kind of given up that I thought black he's already sort of fine, but I thought rook f7 is like the best way to keep up some pressure. But I mean, it's just wrong.
He found this rook h6 move. You had considered this rook h6 idea?
Yeah. No, I'd seen rook h6. I thought he could also. I mean, rook h6 at first. I thought rook g7 check was winning. Rook e7 check, rook d7.
Ah, okay.
But I mean, the problem is rook d7, knight takes e7, rook takes h6 check, king d7. No, take the
Yeah.
yeah. Now rook h7, he has knight takes d6. I mean, this is unfortunate.
It's a draw.
But yeah, I mean, I'd seen this idea of rook h7, and I thought that like he was going to try this. Like, I mean, rook h. So you can, if white wants to force a draw, there are many ways. But I thought rook h7 is trying to do something because okay, if rook h6, I can go rook gf7. Like, I don't know if it's
Sorry, what did you say
Because I thought, like,
for
this-
black?
if rook g6, if he tries to repeat,
Ah, okay, with the same idea.
I can go rook gf7. I mean, it's looked interesting enough to try.
And now he
Because,
could have
I mean,
played
at
knight d6 same. So if he wanted it,
Yeah, I
if he also wanted to equalize, he would have gone knight d6 number of times. But I think he was so over
No.
ambitious.
I mean, no. Yeah, I mean knight d6 from before, but okay, here in such a position, if you're trying to equalize by going knight d6, this is either 50-50. Either you lose in 2 moves or you make a draw. Because also you have 30 seconds, right? It's very difficult to calculate knight takes d6 such moves here.
Yeah, true.
I think okay, rook takes hd is objectively fine, and it's also more tempting. But I played a4, which was trying to dislodge this knight, and I mean what was nice here was that he was down to some 40 something seconds, and I was I was close.
You
like
had
on time. I
one
was
minute
just
19 seconds.
just slightly above him, so that I have just a little bit more time to calculate things here, which is nice.
And then he went
I mean, okay, he
90.
went knight d4, bishop c5, and then okay, then he messed up something here. I mean, knight d2 is wrong.
But also, if you
I
would
mean,
have
I'll
taken on d6 over here, were you thinking it's like a clear draw or something, or what was your plan? Like, how would you have continued?
no, I mean, okay, he takes d6. I mean, I thought maybe you do hold somehow, like rook h8, but no. You go like this way, and you just try to make perpetual. Okay.
Yeah. This was, but in 40
Yeah, okay.
seconds, this also mean, I mean, you have to
Also-
calculate SS. I don't know, was it
Wait.
easy?
Why you can also go rook h7?
Oh. Oh, nice. And if takes?
But you can rook take, and now the thing is you have to see that, okay, knight on d5 is such a brilliant piece that just rook g8.
Yeah.
And now the thing is there's no d7, knight takes c7. But actually, I mean, white is not at risk, right? Like d7, knight takes c7, d8 queen, rook takes d8, rook takes c7, rook d1 check, rook d2. I mean, it's a draw.
Yeah. This
But yeah, I mean, I somehow felt like white can never be in risk in such a position. Like this is very, very scary. I mean, black is fine. I don't deny that, but white is the one with all the chances.
Especially in the time pressure situation, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Like
yeah.
I think knight d2 check is a very, very natural move, but he has like 45 seconds to calculate things, and this is not.
Yeah,
not
how
easy at all.
difficult was rook d3 to find on the, like, were you considering for black rook d3 idea over here, or any rook g3 idea?
I was calculating checks and so on. I mean, I was mainly actually one thing as I was trying not to lose, like his two knights and rook ch8 and all this stuff. I mean, if something like rook d3 would have come on the board, I wouldn't be surprised also, but I would be a bit relieved that okay, he doesn't have anything concrete.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
rook d3 is draw, right? I can go. I mean, I was just briefly calculating like bishop d4, rook d8, rook c7, rook d6, king e5, rook d5, and draw, right?
Sorry, after rook d4, what did you say?
Rook d8, rook c7, rook d6, king e5, rook d5, and draw. So okay, I mean the
Yeah.
good thing is that if you played something like this in 30 seconds, I would have found some way to make a draw. But yeah, I mean that's what I was saying. But yeah, I mean rook d3 is again it's probably. But yeah, with like 30 seconds, it's very difficult to play in
Yeah,
such a position.
40
Maybe he missed
seconds,
his bishop d4 idea.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this bishop d4 move when you played after king f1, rook take knight f4 first, and now you played bishop d4. That was the only move, but if you wouldn't have found it again, it was a problem. How easy was it on the board, like during the whole time pressure and everything?
I'd seen this when I went bishop c5, that this whole plan of going bishop
Oh.
d4, because I mean it's just made. Like, I mean somehow his king with my bishop on d6, I don't know if it was a bit. It was a bit. I don't know how to explain this, but his king should be mated, but there is no mate. But now, like once his bishop goes to the other side, you all of a sudden see like how dangerous his entire plan actually is.
Yeah, that was a very good idea actually, to reroute and to threaten a mate over here. And in time pressure, I think it
Okay.
just.
I mean, I think from move 40, I converted this properly. I love this rook d3 idea that I found. Like, okay. I mean, firstly, after move 40, I mean, I spent 5 minutes on bishop takes e5. I just went, washed my face, and came back to the board. I mean, the adrenaline was still pumping through my body from the last couple of moves, so I just.
It
reset.
would be one of the most, I think, for this tournament, definitely a most intense game, no? Until in all the 5
Yeah,
rounds.
it's the most intense and it's the worst by quality.
I wouldn't call worse. I mean, of course, there was this one moment, but that also was a very natural kind of a continuation you would go for. It wasn't a very obvious blunder at that point of time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just such a winning position. Like, you make any move, it's winning, but like 2.5, because also against a great player like Gukesh, you rarely get second opportunities. Like, I got lucky in this game, that's another story, but if you need to beat these guys consistently, you cannot be making moves like knight d4. Like, that's my main point. Like, okay, you went rook b3, and yeah, I mean, from here, I think, okay, I found this. I mean, I just repeated once, got a little bit of time, and then check, and rook b3 is. I mean, maybe there's more than one way, but this seems very clear that now if the pawn ever reaches g7, he resigns. So
Yeah.
okay, and that's exactly what happened. I just also rook trades are winning for me, and eventually I just got this rook g7, g6. Okay, and
Yeah,
then
this was
I mean he
clean.
was again. I mean I don't. I'll just explain what he was. I'll briefly try to explain what he was trying for here. Like he went rook b4 check, king c3, rook c4 check, rook king b3. Now the thing is, unfortunately, rook a8 doesn't work for him. He probably wanted like rook a8, rook f8, rook a4. I mean he's very resourceful, so I imagine this is what he was trying for. But unfortunately, if I just queen, rook a b4 check, king a2, rook a4 check, I can go king b1 and rook b2.
Wow, you saw
But
it.
yeah, overall it was a very, very intense game.
Yeah, such an amazing game, like one of the most exciting with every move there was a huge branch of calculations, and we were telling people that this one game you can analyze I don't know for how long. Does it happen like after the tournament is over you will go back home and you will take this game again and you will analyze it, like completely decode it,
Oh,
or
yes.
how does it happen?
I mean, the thing is, no, that doesn't happen after the tournament. That happens in another half an hour. I don't know. Usually, I mean, like whatever I missed yesterday against Prague, I did this like after I went back to my hotel room. I worked on this with my dad. Like I have a board. I just set it up on the board, and I went to solving these things. This way, I mean, the ideas get reinforced in a much better way.
On the board, yeah, not on the computer, you're saying.
No. I mean, he has the. I mean, the thing is, he like after the game is over, okay, he checks everything out with the computer. He has the positions where I made mistakes, of course. But I tried to solve it. Like we have a physical board that we brought from US, so we just set it up on the board and I reattempt every entire thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually, no, I haven't heard of people doing this on the physical
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
So this is huge.
It's
Something to learn
painful, but
from.
it works.
It's painful. But also, how like this is only the fifth round of this tournament, and we are seeing like the games are going on for 6 to 7 hours. How is it like very tiring already because it is equal to around 7-8 rounds of a normal classical tournament? So how is it for you?
Sure. I mean, yeah, this is one very general concern. Yes, that's there, but at the same time, you have the good thing is there's only one game a day, so at least you have some time to get back to normal before the next day. And also there's a rest day and a day in like after the next round, so it's not that bad. Like overall, like
Yeah.
I mean, during the second time control of this game, it was very intense. Like I mean, I was a lot more tired than actually during my entire Yu Yang game, but like even then I was able to calculate variation, so I'm not very concerned overall. Like usually, like like throughout the entire game, I bring protein bars also, so that whenever I'm getting low on energy, I just eat one, and then I get back to normal.
But that's amazing that you joined us and shared all the details of the analysis, because today is definitely a very
My
big
pleasure.
day that you are you feeling proud of yourself for beating the world champion?
Definitely. I mean, this was a very nice game. I mean, okay. I mean, aside from the mistakes, but overall, I wanted to get some kind of a very very messy fight, and that's what I got, and I delivered. So that feels quite nice overall.
Wow. Thank you, Abhimanyu, and wish you all